Hi, I'm Michelle LeBlanc, coach with Outrival Racing and the official coach of Memorial Hermann Ironman Texas. The Memorial Hermann Ironman Texas run course is a 3-loop course in the heart of the Woodlands. The loop includes a few miles along a really scenic waterway, and then the remaining part of the course goes through residential areas in the Woodlands. It's a very flat course, and it can be a very fast run, kind of depending on the climate. At that time of year, the weather can be somewhat unpredictable, but most likely it's going to be a hot and humid day. And even though the race is in the Woodlands, there really isn't much shade along the run course. Here's a video of the run course, along with some tips and pointers to help prepare you for race day. Okay, you start out from transition at Town Green Park, and you run along the waterway. Come across the first aid station will be somewhere right around here. Be able to get some water, get some calories in. You'll run along the waterway until it ends. Then you're going to take a sharp right up this little hill. Last year they threw in a little kind of out and back there. Not sure if they're going to do that again this year. But you did an out and back, and then you got into the parking lot here. You run through the parking lot. You get a little bit of shade in here. This section can feel kind of lonely. There aren't too many spectators back in here. It's kind of hidden. Here around the corner is on your left will be aid station, another aid station. Then you're going to turn outside of these parking lots, and you're actually going to go onto the road here. You don't get on the pathway, but you're going to go onto the road. You'll run down Lake Woodlands Drive. Again, you'll be on the road here, not on the pathway. Here's the only incline on the Ironman Texas course. It's a bridge that goes over Lake Woodlands, which is where you started your day with the swim. So that's off to your left is North Shore Park and the swim start. Now you're going to go off of kind of the main loop of the course into North Shore Park. And as you enter the park, you'll be able to call for your special needs bags. They'll call out your number or ask you if you need your bag. And then as you run around the park, they'll be getting your special needs bag if you requested it. In this section, it's a great place to see who's behind you, kind of see who's in front of you. It's a great place to have your family and friends come out because you can see them along this loop in here. You'll also see a lot of family members out in this section. You come out in North Shore Park. Again, you get back up on the road, not here on the pathway. You run along Lake Woodlands for quite a while. Come across another aid station right around here. Then, once you get to the corner of Panther Creek, which is coming up here, you're going to make a left turn. And this intersection that's coming up here in just a second is the farthest point away from Market Street. So this is kind of as far out as you'll run before you start making a turn. Here you're going to run along East Panther Creek. Again, you're going to stay on the road in this section. You continue on Panther Creek, coming up right around mile marker 2, and then just a ways ahead here will be also mile marker 20. You've got the third aid station right around here. Again, serving Ironman Perform, orange and lemon lime. Also, they'll have goo, Roctane, and regular goo on the course this year. You'll want to make sure you bring electrolytes. It's a really hot and humid day, and this is a high sweat rate race. Now here you turned onto Woodlands Parkway, and you're actually going to run along the pathway in this section for almost a mile. And you will really come to appreciate this section. It's shaded, as you can see. There aren't any spectators out here for the most part. It's a closed section. You're going to continue through this little pathway until you hit South Shore Park. Around here is mile marker 12. And then right to the right is going to be your aid station number 4. Off to your left is Lake Woodlands, where you swam. Then you're going to cross over this bridge. You get a little breeze here sometimes just because it's so open. Then you're going to continue on this pathway and actually run a little bit more through a shaded section before you enter into East Shore development. East Shore is a new development with some big, beautiful homes. We'll give you something to look at. So you turn into East Shore Park, and now you're going to make a little loop through this development. You're on the roads in this section. Now you're kind of on the pathway, and then on the roads they kind of alter a little bit. And then you're going to come to another aid station number 5. As you run through the East Shore subdivision, you've got 2 aid stations, aid station number 5 and then aid station number 6 in this section. Aid station 5 is along East Shore Drive, and aid station 6 is going to be located right before you get onto the waterway. You're going to pass mile markers 4, 22, and then 14 through this section. So you're at mile 14 right before you get onto the waterway. I'd advise that you get fluids, nutrition at aid station 6 each time before you go back onto the waterway, because you've got a little bit over 1.1 miles, I think it's 1.2 miles, until you hit your next aid station when you get off the waterway. So make sure you get some fluids. This section doesn't have a lot of spectator coverage in it, so a lot of the athletes that have raced this find this kind of one of the more challenging sections of the course. As you exit East Shore, you're going to take this little cut through that takes you onto the waterway. And here's where you'll get extremely remotivated, because the crowds out here are fantastic. And all the athletes that have raced this say that it's much easier to run on this section just because the crowd is so fantastic, and they really wake you up and give you energy. You'll run along the waterway. You're going to pass mile marker 24 approximately around here. And then in just a little ways, you're going to pass mile marker 6. On this section, so on the south side of the waterway, there are no aid stations. It's a long stretch. So that's why I recommended that you make sure before you get onto the waterway each time that you make sure you take nutrition, because you have a little bit longer than normal between aid stations. So between aid station 6 and 7, you've got quite a gap. Run along the waterway. Here you'll find a lot of people out. There's a lot of great restaurants along this section, so the crowd gets really rowdy around here. Off to the left is the host hotel, the Marriott. You'll continue on the south side of the waterway, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come off the waterway and you're going to loop around the Anadarko building and then encounter aid station number 7. So here we go, we're looping around. Right here is aid station number 7. You'll actually run on the pathway here, and then they'll put you out on the road. Then you're going to take a right onto Timberlock. Got a little construction here. It actually will keep you on the road in this section. Hopefully there won't be all that construction. As you come off Woodlock Forest, you're going to loop around a building, and then you're going to continue on the waterway under this scaffolding. You'll get some shade with that scaffolding if it's still there. You're going to run to the end of the waterway where you encounter aid station number 8. You're going to make a hairpin turn at the end of the waterway. You can see the mall there coming up. Going to make a hairpin turn and then come back and continue running in the direction that you just came out along the waterway. Now, depending on which loop you are on, if you're on loop 1 or 2, you're going to continue staying straight along the waterway back towards Town Green Park, back towards transition area. If you're on your last loop, you're going to veer off into the finish line area, the finish chute. It's very clearly marked, and you'll be very, very happy to see on that last loop that you're going to veer off to the right into the finish area. If you're on the first or second loop, you'll continue on this pathway. You're going to encounter mile marker 8, approximately around here. Again, you're going to go back through the section with the restaurants, A lot of people drinking beer, hooting and hollering for you. It's fantastic. Going to run along the waterway. You're going to wish that you could jump in that body of water to cool off. They kind of finagle you off of a pathway and onto the trolley cart. It's very clear though, they mark it really well. Up here you have transition area coming up. So if you're on loops 1 and 2, you're going to go past transition and then you're going to pick the course up where you started for your second and third loop. Hope this helps. Hope this helps prepare you for Ironman Texas. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. www.outrivalracing.com.